Hello traders, now stay with me and I'm going to break down how I was able to get 40% increase on my account last week, taking these same trades and how we actually analyze this trade. I actually put these trades on our YouTube and my TikTok to be able to help anybody out there to also catch the same trade like I did. And then the results are out and I want us to review it. And also we are going to break down the results that we got from these trades and also what is going to be the next move that we should be expecting from the forex market right away. So we're going to break down 4 out of 5 instruments that we were able to trade last week, and also going to also look at each of them to be able to ascertain ourselves with what is going to come again next week while we open for the next fresh week. My name is Dennis Cashpips, and I'm here to stand with you as we are going through this trading analysis. All right. Starting with GBP USD, we were able to catch this trade from here after the market had given us a third touch on this trend line. We have the information that the market had broken structure from this level, but then we wanted to get an entry from that level. So also there was micro trend lines that were also drawn from these levels, micro trend lines like this one, which had been broken and multiple times they were broken. And that was a significant reason for us to be looking for sell opportunities on GBP USD. So what happens is the market breaks a trend line, and then we wait for the retest of that trend line at the psychological level. That's what we do. But then last week, before I told you that we are going to have this area as a very significant area because it has a third touch trend line that is coming to be in that same zone. And not only that, we have also trend lines that have been broken on lower times of 5 minutes and 15 minutes. The trend lines had been broken, and then we were retesting those trend lines. So why did we catch this trade at this area? So after the market had broken trend lines, this one that I had put out here, the market came back and then was looking for a psychological level to react off of. Now, at the psychological level would have been this one, a retest from here, but the market broke above still. So waiting for the market to come to this psychological level. The next psychological level was this one. Now we find at that psychological level, the market also gives us a third touch. This is a second touch and a third touch on that psychological level, signifying that that is going to be a major reason for us to be able to take that trades off of. So when the market comes to that area, you can see ideally that the market gave us a candlestick pattern, which is a tweezer top at this area. So from there, that's when we say now we're going to be taking a of GBP USD. This is the 1 hour time frame chart. So you see this is a tweezer top on 1 hour time frame, and also followed with a green candle which was small, and then now the engulfing candle that took out this candle was a real tell us that we are going to go bearish on GBP USD. So it was at that point that we now take our sell from here, and then we put stop loss right above the trend line and the psychological level, just slightly above. And then we were holding the market. Remember, after that, we now created a trend line that works as our safety line, which is this red trend line over here. And the market has been trading below that trend line over and over again. So you can see the market comes and then bounces off of that trend line. And we're waiting for the market to come and bounce off of it again for the third time. If not, the next move that we want to be looking out for is now we can see the trend line, which is a bullish trend line over here, has been now touched for the third time. So we had the first touch is here, we had the second touch over here, and now we have seen the market come and touch that trend line for the third time. So since this is a third touch, we want to have two things that are going to happen. Here is the place we're going to make decisions from. We want to see the market break above that trend line to be able to reverse the market to the upside. So we want to see something like the market moving above these levels, maybe break this structure from here, and preferably come and retest that trend line, and then we want to see ourselves getting back to the bullishness. So it could give us a fourth touch on this trend line before we go bullish, or we want to see the market now break above this trend line and then come back and retest that trend line from this area like this. So if we have the market coming to this psychological level, this trend line and also this trend line, it's going to give us a trend like the one we had on USD CHF on GBP USD this time. And then we're going to now be taking our buys from there to be able to looking at these areas, the other trend line to be our target of our trade on GBP USD. Rushing very fast, we're going to go to AUD USD. Also, what happened is the market came and also after breaking above this trend line, which we had over here, we had a trend line over here, and then the trend line broke it below this trend line. And then we can see that the market now retested back that trend line at a psychological level. So the psychological level we had was this psychological level. But again, we also had a trend line which was also giving us a third touch at that area. So very important, all things, confluences playing together to show us that we're going to be bearish on AUDUSD. So when the market comes to that area, we also do not stop at that. We can see candlestick reversal patterns that are happening at this area, showing us that we're going to be bearish on AUDUSD. So from that area, after the market giving us those two rejections, I took that trade and put my stop loss right above there. And then we are targeting this low here as our next target. We had this one also over here, and then we're also having this low as our next target. So what are we going to be looking for on AUDUSD also next week? So next week, we're going to have the market come to this area and then react off of the port level to be able to give us buy opportunities on AUDUSD. But now that the market is not clear for now, we are going to update ourselves next time when the market comes to that area, and then we're going to see if the market gives us an opportunity. Of course, definitely I will come and show us what we should be looking out for. Moving forward is USD CHF. Now, this trade was very clear and very clean. So this is what happened. The market comes and breaks this trend, and this is the first touch. We had a second touch over here, and then on the third touch, the market broke above, and then we came to have a retest. Now, the retest also comes and finds when this trend line here is giving us a third touch. So that's when we said, now we're going to go bullish from this area to be able to buy from this zone. And then after the market gave us this reaction candlestick reversal pattern, we took our trade on AUDUSD, and then we are now targeting these highs. They had this resistance area, which was also one of the first targets that we had. But then you see the market has broken above this trend. And so we want to see ideally AUDUSD trading up to this zone. I want to see the AUD CHF trading up to this area, preferably. Then we can now have our trade reversing to the downside to give us now the sell opportunities on USD CHF. Now, why am I looking at this zone? There's another block here that was presented to us. This is another block. And then also there's a trend line that comes to feed into that other block at that same area. And also there's a psychological level that is in that center. All these things are going to play out together to be able to give us one trade that we're going to be taking to the downside to be able to sell USD CHF. Now, what happens is once the market comes to this area, if the market gives us something that shows that we are going to be reversing, definitely I will still come back and then update us. So on what we are going to do next on USD CHF. Next, we're also going to be looking at gold. Now, we also caught a gold trade, which was also over here. You can see this is the third touch on the trend line. So we said we trade trend lines as bouncers, we trade them as breaks, and then also trade them as break and retest. If you do not have a strategy of how I trade my strategies on trend line, you can go to my YouTube channel, you're going to find it. Go to the free course playlist, and then you're going to get the one of trend lines. You're going to be able to plan how we actually place these trend lines to be able to catch trades like this. So gold, also the market came and we had trend lines that were also below this area. Of course, some of them I take them out because I don't want to crowd my charts. So we had a trend line like this, which was also broken from this area. We went to wait for the market to come and retest that trend line before we take our buy or sell trade. So when the market comes to retest that trend line, we want to see the market retesting it at a psychological level. And then we wait for also a confirmation, a candlestick confirmation that shows that we're going to be bearish. And you can see this is something like a tweezer top, which also happened at this area. And then we take our trade exactly after the market has closed that tweezer top. And then we are now looking for taking out the swing low. So again, on gold, we have this area that's going to be a very, very reasonable place for us where you can see the market has already started reacting off of it, but we want to see it now make a little more sense next week by the market coming to this area, and then if possible, strip out this liquidity at this level before we now come and then we start taking our buys. Now, gold is going to do something like this. We may have a trade that is going to come and feed into this area and then buy back to this trend line before we now continue with our sell, or come and create first day pattern before we can be able now to be looking for buy opportunities again, which will be better. Or we could have gold going to break above this area and then break above this trend, and then we're going to go above to be able to pick other trades that are going to go to the upside. But of course, every information that is going to be given to us next week, if that happens, we're also going to come and give out updates on what we are going to be looking out on gold. The last trade that we're going to be looking at is definitely going to be Euro USD. Now, this trade is also one of the best trades that we had, and also talked about it in my previous videos. I said that this area is going to be very significant, and this is where we took our trade from after the market had given us a reversal from this area. The market had left an order block on 15-minute time frame over here, and then the market came and gave us an engulfing candle that followed after there. And then you can see the market came and tried and then gave us a rejection. It gave us multiple entry opportunities on USD. You could have entered from here. 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 You could have entered from here, as in multiple entry opportunities on Euro USD to be able to catch this trade on Euro USD to sell to the downside. Now, this trade also was broken down last week. If you were doubting, you can go and check the previous video that I uploaded on YouTube. And you're going to find that, and TikTok actually, you'll find that I broke down this trade and we have moved the way we were expecting it. So what next on Euro USD? Euro USD has come to a major level over here, which is a psychological level that we can see over here. And also there's a trend line that is also in this place, something which looks more familiar like USD CHF trade that we have. So we can have the market now trading back to this area, to this psychological level, and then be able to give us a bounce off of this trend line and the psychological level to trade to the upside on Euro USD. Or we could have a push up and then come and then give us another entry. And then if that happens, then we're going to create another trend line over here that is going to now be broken and then retested before we now take our buy opportunities on Euro USD. So that's what we're going to be having for this week. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, say sure to follow and also like this video, comment and share it with your friends so that we are keeping together and we keep in touch. Also, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, Cashpips FX, ensure to do so. And if you have not followed me on TikTok, please do that, because it's for us and for our own good that we need to be together, working together as the Cashpips family. All right, for now, I'll sign up as Cashpips FX. Thank you.